If you started a GLP-1 and suddenly there's more hair in the brush, fear can show up before answers do. Maybe you notice strands in the sink. Maybe the shower drain looks fuller than usual. That's when the questions start flooding in. Could this be from the medication? Is this from weight loss or stress? Or is something else going on? How worried should I be? This explainer is built from the Find My GLP-1 Guide to GLP-1 Hair Loss, reviewed by Jane Rivers, RNBC. Here's the bottom line. The link between GLP-1 treatment and shedding is often indirect. Hair loss has appeared in weight management trial data, but rapid weight loss and body stress are common reasons shedding can happen. That can make the medication feel like the obvious cause. But the more useful question is what changed, when it changed, and what pattern you are actually seeing. Look at the last few months as a sequence, not a single clue. First, your treatment starts. Then appetite changes. Meals become gradually smaller and the weight loss momentum starts to pick up. And this happens when stress may be at elevated levels. Then suddenly, more hair appears in the brush or shower drain. That hair loss is real and the timing matters. Before you decide what it means, write down a few dates. Note when treatment started, when eating changed, when weight changed, when stress was high, and when shedding first became noticeable. And finally, add any scalp symptoms you may have noticed. One helpful term is Telogen effluvium. That means more hairs move into the resting part of the hair cycle before they shed. Hair normally moves through growth, transition, rest, and shedding. After a body stressor, more hairs can enter that rest and shed phase around the same time. That is why shedding can look sudden, even if the trigger happened earlier. More hair in the brush may be delayed shedding from the hair cycle, not automatic evidence of permanent hair loss. That delay is one reason this feels so confusing. Shedding can show up 2 to 4 months after a body stressor. The week you first notice hair loss may not be the week the trigger happened. It may not match the week you started treatment either. The pattern may line up better with faster weight loss, lower food intake, stress, or several changes together. The lag does not make the shedding less real. It just makes the cause harder to sort out. The trial data deserves a careful read. The Find My GLP-1 guide includes weight management trial data on reported hair loss. In the guide's table, hair loss was reported by 3.0% of Wegovy participants, compared with 1.0% on placebo. For Zepbound, the table lists 4.9% to 5.7%, compared with 1.0% to 1.3% on placebo. That's worth calling out, but trial data still has its limits. Yes, it can show what happened across a group, but trial data cannot explain why one person is shedding. Variables like timing, pattern, weight change, nutrition, stress, and scalp symptoms still matter. Start with the week you first noticed shedding, then work backwards. First, mark the date and write down whether the shedding seems spread across the scalp or whether it shows up in distinct patches. Track whether the amount is increasing, holding steady, or slowing. Write down scalp symptoms like itching, pain, redness, flaking, or inflammation. Then add nearby changes: appetite, meals, weight, and stress. Nutrition is also a practical place to investigate. The building blocks for healthy growing hair come from food, and rapid weight loss can make those harder to get. Start with your diet, not the supplement aisle. Hair is made mostly of keratin, a protein. When appetite drops, meals can shrink and protein intake can drop too. Iron, zinc, and vitamin D are also tied to hair health. But guessing is the trap. Without blood work or another clear reason, a supplement can be an expensive answer to the wrong question. After looking at nutrition, think about what you can do to reduce strain on your hair while the hair cycle catches up. The goal is not to force regrowth overnight. It is to lower avoidable stress on your body and avoidable breakage in your hair. Getting more sleep can support recovery. And fluids matter because dehydration can add physical stress during a GLP-1 journey. Remember to handle your hair gently. Try using less heat in your routine while skipping the harsher treatments. Remember to detangle slowly from the ends and choose looser styles that do not pull at the roots. None of this guarantees regrowth, but it can reduce the strain on your hair while the hair cycle catches up. Now separate expected shedding from signs that need a closer look. Hair shedding linked with rapid weight loss is often temporary, but some patterns do not fit that explanation. Hair loss showing up in distinct patches is different than shedding spread across the scalp. If the scalp hurts, itches, flakes, looks red, or feels inflamed, that matters too. So does shedding that feels severe, comes out in large clumps, or keeps going instead of starting to slow down. Also, watch for a widening part or a receding hairline. And if shedding has settled, but you still do not see regrowth after 6 to 9 months, that is another reason to get evaluated. The point is not to panic. It is to notice when something else may be causing the shedding. For a deeper dive, read the full Find My GLP-1 guide linked in the video description. It includes source details and the longer discussion behind this explainer, which is educational only. It is not medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. For symptoms, medication questions, supplement questions, or care decisions, use a licensed healthcare professional.